So, Soul Tribe, um, I literally just woke up from a nightmare a little bit ago, and I can't get back to sleep. And I know what this means for me, of course, at least somewhat. I know what I had to do, which was make a video because it's obviously been too long since I've shared the thoughts with the collective. Um, Especially since being caught up in this world really makes you, it can make you forget who you are a little bit. Getting caught up in the mundane, then the labor, and the God of this world. Um, and so I haven't been catering to um, my spirituality as I should have. And I have to share what I've been receiving that needs to be received by you. So, I was meditating on quantum consciousness the other day and just putting together just this whole concept, I suppose. It's like in a in the smallest particle of light, whatever, you see that the dark matter, um, there's two particles of dark matter and there's two particles of glowing matter. And the assumption is that the glowing matter emits from the dark matter. So, and also there's a theory, there's the, I've only been doing a little bit of quantum physics studying recently, um, as casual as it can be. Um, but I did read about the black body, what do you call that? The black body, uh, quantum, whatever. It's 3 in the morning. So, but I know that how it works is essentially that a black body, a perfect black body, will absorb all the energy, or, or it will absorb a certain amount of quanta, and will also emit a certain amount of quanta, and that creates the light. I mean, I'm just saying that, so I guess that's true. So, what that tells me, for one, is how, us melanated people, and not just those with melanated skin, but those who have brown hair and brown eyes, are melanated people. But that just tells us to be high frequency in our thinking, so that, and absorb high frequency thinking, so that we emit high frequency energy. Because whatever we absorb, we emit. But the way that this world works, in supplying us with low nutritional foods, people suffer. There's no protection from the UV rays, or from any type of cosmic pollution, because of the low frequency foods we eat, low frequency thoughts, and these create low frequency people. And low frequency people are just as bad as all this stuff. Anything that keeps you on low frequency is just not good for you. So I got stuck in the low frequency. So it happens. We fall off sometimes. And in this quantum consciousness, I was thinking about, it's like, um, I was just thinking about how the basic of everything is a five, essentially. It's, if you see the particle, it's two glowing balls of light, two dark balls, and it makes four poles. And we, and all together, you put a circle around it, that's the fifth line. It's the completion of it, it's the circle of it. Um, Four is the base of everything, but then five makes it complete. We're five fingered beings. Um, as you know, the Nemba will say, um, or just in general that, this five being the sort of completion, the total, almost totality of it all, the fifth element, whatever that may be, which is spirit, love, humanity, whatever. We understand that there's to a four, there's a fifth to it that completes it. Fifth dimension, we've been talking about 5D a lot. But my life path number is also a five, so it's also why it's significant. So other five life pathers, what's up? But also, and I wanted to mention was like, I wanted to talk about peace as well. Peace in the East, because there's a lot of talk of war, rumors of war. Of course, we know the whole spiel if you're a Revelations reader, and how this is gonna play out. But of course, those who have faith have nothing to worry about. I just have to say, if you are worried, just have peace and have faith, and know that you can choose peace. We can always choose peace. No matter what any authoritarian figure may say to you, what the media may say, you can always choose peace. You can always choose love. And people who don't want to choose that ultimately destroy themselves. And it's with peace and love you've released them as well. You release these things that are detrimental to creation, because you can't create with destructive energy. So, well, it destroys itself. The powers, the so-called powers that be, are messing with powers that they don't understand. And as I've seen it, and I trust in my intuition, the things I've seen and predicted, and not even so much just off pure psychicness, but and clairvoyancy, but just off paying attention. The pattern is that peace does win. It's the fact that people keep forcing destructive energies out and are trying to win at some game that they know that they will lose at. So what else can but the faithful do but sit and be faithful? Be full of faith that things are going to be all right for us. Always. And it's easy to take comfort in that, because as the tower gets struck down, um, I know that amongst the rubble, I'll still be standing. That's just a fact. Um, those who are protected and loved will still be standing. Those that truly want peace will have it. And if you have faith, the faith of a mustard seed, right? That will, eventually blossom into something beautiful. Hey, you got it. At this point, if you're still trying to be destructive or still trying to fight, and against, because at this point, sis, we've been fighting against each other for so long, or we've been made to believe to fight against each other, to do all this, how you say, like, this extra work, or just to continue slaving ourselves over something that is pretty much insignificant in the greater scheme of things, because we're just sitting around still running this game, this system that's been done with, that's been, exposed and been won for the people that, have waited for peace. But now that, but these days we suffer from over sensationalization and desensitization and overstimulation, all these things of extremes of our senses and our uh, and the dulling of our thinking abilities and the dulling of our spirituality, um, and ignorance of the soul. um, those people who are still stuck in that are just going to be stuck in that, unfortunately. And this is a time that we just release with peace. That's the phrase. Release with peace, release with peace, release with peace. And that's the most powerful thing you can do, is release with mercy. You know, um, not with anger or bitterness. You know, I just saw, releasing a fish back into the water, or releasing a butterfly that you caught. Just release it back into nature, to let nature deal with nature. Interfering in nature so much is what brought us to this position, or it, or I mean, it's us, because we all are one, but we recognize that some people are doing wrong despite knowing better, or despite showing them better. Some people decide to stay in their ignorance, I guess. Ignorance is bliss. And even with the truth being out here already, the truth is just in nature, it's in the skies, it's in the trees, in the water. If you just sit still and meditate on it without trying to bring your ego that you've developed for this world, you have to leave that behind as well. You have to release that with peace as well, with mercy. And, be merciful upon yourself to release that. Release these old traditions, these old gods, our ancestors. Like, it's not that you're denying them, or it's gonna make them upset that you're not gonna, I don't know, pray to them or talk to them, whatever, that kind of way. It's just remembering that you are your ancestors. So there's no need to go outside of yourself. God is within you, right? Just when any of us talk to God, when any of us pray, it's we're talking to our heart, and that's just the way to do it. But we so externalized everything, externalized all our needs so much that we are so disconnected from our higher self, from each other as well. Because like when we get tied up in these old traditions, without innovating them, I'll say, without evolving, we get trapped in this low frequency slavery, essentially. And we wonder why we keep going through these same cycles. Like people are talking about World War III. Like it's the same cycle again as World War One, World War Two, World War III now, where it's the economy is starting to fall off, and so they want to create a girl on TikTok explained it perfectly, but basically they want to, boost the money up or try to pay this debt or whatever it is. They create this illusion of debt to prop up a war machine to make money off of. And so we should look at the people who are making money off of manufacturing war supplies and how, all this stuff is financed, essentially. I think there's better ways to make money. I mean, yeah. If we all just really, like, I've been reading this book, Flight, the Creative Class, and it's the same type of there's a word in there, the phrase in there was like, when people do the work that they love, it creates prosperity. And that's the truest form of prosperity, is doing what you love. But we should do what we love without being attached or exploited to entities that just want to, what's the word? Extract our currency from us. And geez, like it's a real shame to let that happen. I mean, even now, I do have work today, and I guess I still gotta make the shift because I still have some things to pay off and all that. But hopefully, I know it'll be changing soon anyway. It's just I can't let myself be caught up in that whole rap about making money and just exploiting myself to try to buy nice goods or whatever. Like I went to the store earlier and I should have bought the dream catcher when I looked at it, but I guess I had a thought of scarcity, and I was like, oh, I don't need to buy this right now. And so thinking about money too much, I denied myself something that I actually needed, and I probably wouldn't be up right now. I had to have a nightmare. So yeah, but this all relates together with this collective consciousness of being overwhelmed and dealing with the stresses of life that we really don't want to deal with, dealing with the fact that we're still being exploited in a variety of ways, and jeez, I mean, it's not so much. I mean, yeah, it is. We're being exploited in a variety of ways, exploited for our time and our labor, and hardly left with any time to really cultivate our own creative hobbies. Um, I mean, my schedule's not too bad now, but it really does. It kind of does take away from some things that I could be doing my time. I mean, especially since I'm used to just being a student all day long and taking care of the kids all day long. Um, but I guess this isn't what I had in mind as far as a work-life balance with the children. But that's just something that has to be worked on with a different, better position eventually, i.e., running my own business eventually. Soon, soon, soon. But I had to come back to myself tonight, or this morning, and remember who I am again. And this is just a reminder to always remember who you are. You know, we are connected to things extremely powerful. You know, this solar system itself is an atom. You know, an atom upon many atoms, right? If you were to zoom out enough, of course, in that way. That's why they say to look at the noble gases um, to learn how to handle the quantum energy fields. And once you learn what that means and utilize it, then yeah, you become even more powerful, which is something I should have been working on instead of trying to work at a, what do you call it, probably a fluoride level work that I'm doing now, or have been doing. So, oh man, I don't know, this came out all over the place, but I hope the message makes sense because I had to get it out. Um, I, I know who's going to watch this, and I know who's going to understand it. So, yeah, that's all that matters. Um, Otherwise, peace be with you. Pray for peace. You can always choose peace. Peaceful release. Remain faithful. And, you know, be illuminated, but also recognize the deep darkness that cannot be penetrated, nor compressed or destroyed. Actually, before I even end, I realized that the Luciferian fall is this. It's the light that came out of dark matter, but the light thinks it is it, since it cannot see the dark, or it doesn't think the dark is as important as its light, not realizing that the light comes from the dark. And but they know that the dark knows it emits the light, and it also knows it needs the light because of the nature of how, the absorption and emissions. So we must realize that we're working together always in what we absorb and what we emit. And light itself, even though it is emitting, or it is the emission, it is also the absorption. So like, this is the balance that we have to recognize in each other. because this dark and light exists within each of us. And so just recognize that that's the true Tao. That's the, yeah. So like when we work together, we create more light. We're not in, when we support the darkness, our deep emotions, our deep selves, the true dark mother goddess, all that is born comes from the darkness. Still, um, because first it was dark and then came light. So that's just what we need to be thinking about. Like, Lucifer is actually just someone who forgot who his mother was. And Lucifer only is thinking about the father, I suppose. You want to put it those terms. But there is no antichrist or whatever. I think the only sense of an antichrist would be someone who goes against this whole system to tell you that there is no, there's none of that stuff. It's actually, it's the darkness is the absorber and the emitter, and the light is the emission and is the absorbee. I think when we understand that at a consciousness level, that's where we can begin to make cooperative, collaborative effort really to impact the world in a positive way and to change our future to something beautiful instead of just constant destruction and burning away of everything we see because there's no recognition of the truth, denying the truth, which is actually, and the truth is the darkness is just as, if not even more important than the light. Because without the darkness, the essence of the darkness, and trying to penetrate and break that darkness, it's not going to happen. Because that's what they keep trying to do, and it's not going to happen. And they will destroy the whole universe trying to figure out how to break open the deep darkness to get to the deepest part, whatever. You're not going to. And you will destroy yourselves long before you even get a chance to, anyways. And we already know that this is happening. So, but we can still, but the future, time is not set in stone. Time is in a wave, I guess. And we can still make decisions that affect our future and preserve us further along instead of being stuck down in old traditions, old ways of thinking that have not moved us forward and are actually, a lot of it's misinterpreted because it's been, translated by Europeans who don't really have the contextual context, the contextual meanings for these definitions as well. So don't be Luciferian, and also don't be a total nihilist. I don't know what you call it, the person of ultimate who worships the dark too much, maybe like a goth. Just, it's the balance. The balance is in fours. So handling the four elements of these things is key to achieving the five wholeness. All right. I think that's the right amount of information I can give out. And maybe I don't know. I'm probably gonna take a small nap before, and then I can go about my day. All right.